Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our podcast. Welcome to another episode of Podading. In today's episode, we're gonna talk about work cultures. We're gonna compare Indonesians' work culture and our dream country's work culture. We're gonna talk about the similarities, we're gonna talk about the differences. So I hope you guys enjoy today's episode. Uh, Listen to it, understand it, because it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a variety of countries. I hope you guys enjoy it. So we're just gonna jump right into it.
Hello everyone, my name is Dewi Permatasari. I want to tell you about similarities and difference between Indonesia and my dream country, South Korea. First of all, I want to tell you about similarity both Indonesia and South Korea have culture, appreciate and respect to their colleagues. For example, call her co-worker not directly using the name. Next, both Indonesia and South Korea have culture, discipline, and on time. In terms of working time, Indonesia and South Korea work on 8 a.m. into half of 6 p.m. Both Indonesia and South Korea is unitary state. Next, I want to tell you about difference between Indonesia and my dream country, South Korea. In Indonesia, employees should use certain title to call their boss. For example, we use Bapak or Pak for male boss to honor him. In South Korea, employees should call coworker with name, position, and clan. For example, call Secretary Kim for secretary name of Kim Min-soo. Next, while have new employee or coworker just say welcome, nothing celebrate party in Indonesia. In South Korea, welcome new coworker have culture welcoming party with drink soju. In Indonesia, work have culture mutual cooperation, so do work with the team. The most work in South Korea is do individualism without help from others. In Indonesian company, every job is done by expert. For example, to do create website page for company is doing by web developer. In South Korea, employee should have multi-talent skill because doing multitasking job desk in their work.
Hello everyone, my name is Abdullah Azhar Al-Farisi. In here, I will tell you about similarities and differences between Indonesia and my dream country, Switzerland. I will go from similarities. 1. Both Indonesia and Switzerland are republic countries. 2. The population of Indonesia and Switzerland have modesty, such as removing sandals before entering the house. 3. Indonesia and Switzerland have been the same for long in terms of public service. And the last, Indonesians and Swiss residents both have a high respect for neighbors, such as bringing food when invited to the house. Next, I will tell you about differences between Indonesia and my dream country, Switzerland. In Indonesia, where officials are given complete facilities ranging from housing, vehicles, to security. But in Switzerland, public officials are not given excessive facilities. Every state apparatus such as minister is not given housing, vehicle, and so on. Swiss government officials must remove funds from their personal pocket to enjoy these facilities. And next, in Indonesia, officials have their own private vehicles and use them when they work. But in Switzerland, officials and citizens use public transportation to go to the office or to other place. They always take the train or walk if the distance is close enough. And next, Indonesia is an archipelago country. Switzerland is a landlocked country geographically. Divided between the Alps, Switzerland is comprised of three main linguistic and cultures areas: Germany, France, and Italy. And the last, the culture of productive work in Indonesia is not evenly distributed. Work is still considered routine. Even in some employees, work may be seen as a burden and compulsion, especially for lazy people. But in Switzerland, the country of Switzerland has a population that is determined, hardworking, and independent. For example, Swiss people of German descent are known for their productive, straightforward, and practical personalities. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ilona Pinkastiawan and I want to tell you about the differences and similarities between Japan and Indonesia in business. First, I want to tell you about the differences between Indonesia and Japan. In Japan, respect time or on time and discipline. In Indonesia, disrespect time or negligent. And second, in Japan, planning time is longer because it considers things for the future about the profit, loss, and other. In Indonesia, planning time is shorter because Indonesia has the principle of just start first without considering things in the future. And then in Japan, business is carried out in all fields, even if those fields don't suit the business person. In Indonesia, business is carried out according to their fields. And then in Japan, when cooperating with other business people, Japan doesn't sign contract to cooperate in business because Japan has more trust in business partner. In Indonesia, when collaborating with other business partner, Indonesia sign a contract to cooperate in doing business. And now I want to tell you about the similarities between Japan and Indonesia. First, use a hierarchy. Second, has the principle that the buyer is a king. And then there is a competition when doing business. And the last, mutual respect and support for their business partner. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.
Hello everyone, my name is Vida. I want to tell you about similarities and differences between Indonesia and South Korea. Now, differences between Indonesia and South Korea. In Indonesia, the fast-rhythm work system is possible only for a few companies that do operate in certain fields such as marketing, accountants, and several others. The well-known work culture from Korea is a work rhythm that is fast, true, with the best results. Indonesia are indeed famous for their hospitality, because even though Indonesians don't know someone they see, they will say hello or smile. In Korea, they never greet or smile at people they don't know. Roads in big cities in Indonesia are very congested, and even traffic jams often occur because most road users are motorbikes and cars. In South Korea, many residents walk and use public transportation such as the subway. Indonesia in each region has its own local language which is used to communicate. In South Korea, they only have one language, they do not have a regional language. South Korea people communicate with the same language, namely Korean. Now, similarities between Indonesia and South Korea. Both Indonesia and South Korea are republic countries. The months and years of the country's independence were the same in August and 1945. But Indonesia and South Korea still pay attention to. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Raffi Ananda Saidina Setion and I want to tell you about the similarities and differences between Indonesia and my dream country, United States of America. Okay, I start with the first similarities. Indonesia and America have several similarities in work culture, namely Number one, Indonesian and American workers are relatively the same. It starts at 8 a.m. and ends at 17:30 p.m. At 19 p.m., the office usually starts to be deserted because the majority of workers have returned home. Number two, America and Indonesia both adhere to a presidential system. Number three, Indonesia and America are countries in the form of democracy. For the last, number four, likes to reprimand people when they are in the office. And I also want to tell about the differences in work culture in Indonesia with America. Indonesia, number one, tend not to take their given time seriously even though they can still complete a segment on time. And US, they are more serious about deadlines than Indonesians. Number two, Indonesia panic when you experience failure. And US, American people tend to be much more friendly from the start. For instance, they'll share a lot of personal information with strangers just to start conversation. Number three, Indonesia, when starting a conversation or meeting strangers, Indonesians tend to be small talk and don't tell themselves and their personalities because they think it's privacy. And US have a plan B if plan A cannot be implemented. For the last, number four, Indonesia, when meeting with colleges, Indonesians will greet and shake hands. And US, when meeting with colleges, Americans prefer to be hugged. There are some similarities and differences. Thank you.
Okay, now it's my turn. Hi everyone, my name is Salmani Safitri, and like my other friends, I'm gonna explain the exact same thing, so I'm just gonna cut to the chase. My dream country is the United States of America, and to start off, I'm just gonna explain the similarities between both countries. The friendship among coworkers in both countries are very common. Next, it will be the office dress code. Office life in both countries use official office dress code. The third is that both Americans and Indonesians take a very, very big pride of what they do in a daily life basis and their careers. The last but not least is the concept of being late. Being late is a sign of disrespect in both countries. I'm gonna explain Indonesia's work culture first, and then I'm gonna move on to my dream country. So in Indonesia, hierarchy is a big, big thing. Indonesia places a great importance on respecting the social hierarchy in every interaction, even in little conversations. Second, it would be the life work or work life balance. This is a big thing because Indonesians are usually way more invested in people and their social life. Number three, sorry, dignity and reputation are very well protected, and they are very fundamental in Indonesia. Then this behavior is usually called jaim or jaga image. The last but definitely not least, and this is one of the opposite cultures between Indonesia and in the United States, is that we here in Indonesia cannot call anyone directly by their first name. That is a big no, and we need to remember that we have to call everyone with their appropriate honorifics like Bapak, Ibu, Pa, and so on. They have titles. So if we want to call people, we have to call them by their title first and then their name. As for in the United States, the etiquette in the workplace is usually pretty casual. People can address their coworkers by their first name, even their managers and superiors. And the second point in America's work culture is that America is founded on individualism, so their work culture is very individualistic. The third would be the working hours in the US. It is proven that the US tend to be US work hour is quite longer, even though their official office hours is 9 to 5. Companies are not even required to give their workers paid leave. That's why their working hours is quite longer than any other developed countries. And the last, again, definitely not least, is that American work culture involves a lot of discussion and meetings, and they are usually centered on analyzing and planning. That's why Americans usually have a lot of backup plans to start when they're starting projects. And I think that's it for me and my other team members. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening to our podcast today. And we're gonna see you next time. Bye bye.